Hello YouTube, this is Mr. Gibson Guy with you here. Thank you for visiting the channel. I have a new video for you today, which is going to be a two-part video. The first one will get started on a project, and then I'll do another video shows the finished results at the end. So you can watch for that one. But today we had a bunch of Canon camera equipment here. Those of you who are familiar with me, you know that I started out originally back in the 1970s as a Minolta photographer, and then in the mid-80s I changed over to Nikon and stayed with Nikon ever since then. But just in the last year and a half, I've started getting involved in collecting older cameras and lenses and equipment, all the stuff that was my dream gear back in when I was in my late 20s, and now I'm in my early 70s, and I can actually afford to get some of this stuff because the prices were real low, although they are kind of going back up again. Initially, as I said, I've been with Nikon for 30 years, or 40 years, somewhat pretty long, but I branched out a little bit with Olympus, and then I came across an XD11 that I had to have, and a Pentax MX, and I thought, you know what, I can just get all 5 brands of cameras and just see what turns up. Well, the results of that investigation and searching around for what's available and what's reasonable, it exposes the simple fact that as far as numbers go, the undisputed champion of selling cameras in the 70s and 80s, 90s too, even more, was Canon. And of course, when you're selling the most cameras, you're also selling the most lenses. And years, decades later, when people go looking for different cameras, they're going to see lots of Canon cameras and lots of Canon lenses and lots of Canon Motor Drives and flash units, and I didn't even pull those out. Those are back in the cabinet. But so you see a lot of that, and then kind of like you don't see much, but you still see Canons, and then you find out this is something that I learned in the Battle of Hard Knocks here, is that what really sells, because I started doing a store, what really sells is Canon AE1s and Canon AE1 program. Those cameras are in top demand all the time, and I used to be able to pick them up for 60 or 70 bucks and clean them up and then list them on my site for 130 bucks, and they would just disappear instantly. Everybody wanted them. And then I started doing it with A1s, because honestly I've never had the slightest interest in the Canon AE1 or the AE1 program. Those cameras never did anything for me, but I was there when the A1 was first introduced, came out, and wow, they did a big media blitz presentation on it, but it was quite the camera. And it's kind of a strange thing now, because I was back there to see it in the day, and I'm very well aware that the A1 is a far better camera than the AE1 or the AE1 program. And I know I just got a bunch of comments right there when I said that, from, oh no, the AE1's a bunch of garbage, great camera's the AE1. The first one to come out was the AE1. The one that had the most promotion was the AE1. The one that started it all and changed photography, I haven't even a video on that, is the AE1. But the whole A series followed, and their top level, almost professional camera was the A1. And And you notice I don't have any AE ones here because of course they sell right away. I have a couple of A ones. This one right here is my keeper. This is the second one I got. The first one I got cleaned up, listed for sale, and I sold it right when this one came in. I bought this one with the 50mm f1.4 on it. My original one came with it came with that. It came with a 50mm f1.8, which was in pieces. It still is. And it came with this. This is something it's not any big deal, but it's pretty interesting here. This is the 50mm f4 macro lens, and it's an SC spectra coated with the old style mount. And I'll just show you this part here. Watch the scale and watch this lens. You twist and you twist and you twist and you twist and you twist, and then you come to close focusing, and it makes the lens almost twice as long as it is. You'll notice here's the close focusing mark, here's infinity. So it went about 350 degrees around to do that. And I bought the broken lens and this lens and a flash or something, and an AE one, which I turned around and sold. I bought, not that, I bought a 50mm f1.8. I bought plenty of those. You can usually pick up a 51.8 for 20 to 30 bucks, even today, because there's a lot out there. And most of them are not in a plastic bag. Most of them are working. But I replace them a lot. And what I have done is I've kind of got into this business where I've sold a number of cameras and sometimes lenses, but I order the camera like this one, I think it was. Was it? No, it was this one. This one. This came with another lens too. This one came with that lens, and it was another AE1 I got. Darn AE1 program that came with this 200mm f2.8 Canon lens. And I know this is not like a super big deal here. This sells for, usually goes for $100, but it's because there was a lot of Canon lenses out there. But this is a really nice longer lens and faster. Usually 200mm from back in those days were going to be f4. This is an f2.8, so that's a step up. But I ended up picking up some stuff. One time I bought a pack of like 4 lenses. I had a 135 f2.5, and I got the 135 f3.5 just because of what it came with. Also, it included this 35 to 70 or 70 to 150. Yeah, 70 to 150 zoom. This is Canon also. And it came with 1 or 2 50mm f1.8s. And I this camera came with a Vivitar 80 to 200 or 70 to 210, I think. I don't know, but it was not anything real exciting. But an f3.5, and I'm selling with the AW1. The auto winder was with it. But this I just put on here, but this will go on another camera because I have this 28mm f2.8, but I followed a couple now. First one I missed was an AE1 that came with a 35mm f2.8, and the Canon 35mm f2.8 is really hard to find in the FD. I don't know that they're sold out, but I check on eBay all the time, and I can come across like 1 or 2, and they're asking really crazy prices for them. I don't know exactly what the story was, but I have saw and followed for a long time an AE1 with the 35mm f2.8, and I followed that waiting and waiting. I actually tried to buy it once when they had the sale going on, and it kept spitting me out. It wouldn't sell it. It was selling for $199, but they had 40% off, so that makes it $120. Well, if I get a AE1 and I get a 35mm f2.8, I can sell the AE1 and cover the price that I paid for the whole package at $120 plus shipping. And I still have that 35mm, but their computer system wasn't working that weekend, and so I didn't get to buy it. And then shortly after that, somebody else bought it. But now they came up with an AE1 program, which comes with a 35mm f2.8, and that one I'm planning on picking up. They have it listed at $179, so I'm waiting for them to have like a 20% off or something like that, and I'll pick it up. And basically I'll get the lens for free, and that's what I did with so many of these. Buy the camera, sell the put a 50 on it, sell the camera, keep the lens, and that's how I ended up with an assortment of Canon, even though I was never a Canon guy. But this particular video is about my latest acquisition, Canon, and that is this new F-1, which looks just a little bit dusty, and it's got, I'm going to show you this. You can see around the corners of the finders, it's got some wear on it, it's got dust on it, it's got like a little bit of a tap in there. Yeah, you can see just barely. It looks like there's a little bit of an indentation in here, and if you get the light just right, you can see one just above the N here in Canon. I don't know if that's showing. The rest of it is flat here, and it's worn down in the corners. It's worn down underneath in the corners. I tested it out. It's working. Everything's working great in it. But this camera is going to be a two-parter, because one of the things I'm going to do is what I just did was show you the condition and the wear on this camera. It's a little bit worn down, and I'm not going to do anything about the indentations here. Those are going to be there, but I'm going to clean this camera up, and I've discovered that there's just kind of a simple little process to making these cameras look new, or pretty much new, other than, you know, a ding or something like that, but they're slight. But I have been getting really good at cleaning up the cameras, and it takes this tool, which is your old soft bristle toothbrush. This one's just drying out right now, and here we go. Other secret tool, the black permanent marker Sharpie. I'm sure you've seen these before. But what I do on these is, especially when you have black cameras, if you have a chrome camera, there's nothing you can do about wear around the chrome, but you can still use your black Sharpie